Every morning before the sun fully wakes, Officer Melissa CR and her canine partner, Bramble, begin their patrol near Southridge Elementary. Bramble isn't just any dog. He's a Belgian Malinois, lean and sharp, with eyes that seem to see more than most humans ever could. Melissa often calls him her silent guardian. As they walk the quiet streets, Bramble moves with calm purpose. Kids pass by, backpacks bouncing, and Bramble wags his tail slowly, letting them know he's friendly. Melissa smiles, proud of the bond they share. "Good boy, Bramble. Keep them safe today, okay?" she says softly. Bramble looks up, amber eyes steady, as if promising he will. Southridge is peaceful. No reports of trouble, just the everyday chatter of children and parents. But Melissa knows better than to let her guard down. Years on the force have taught her danger often hides beneath quiet faces. Bramble and Melissa stop at the corner where the crossing guard waits. The sun catches the badge on her uniform as she leans against her patrol car. "Morning, Melissa." She nods. Bramble sniffs the air, alert but relaxed. The dog's instincts are sharper than any alarm. Melissa watches. The children cross safely. "You know," she says, "I used to think all Bramble did was look good for the cameras." She laughs softly. "But he's more than a mascot, he's a protector." Just then, a mother drops off her son. "Thanks for watching out for him," she says, glancing at Bramble. Melissa replies, "Always. He's got a nose for trouble." That's when a shadow moves in Melissa's mind. Something feels off. Bramble stiffens beside her. His ears twitch. "Easy, boy," Melissa whispers. But the tension stays. It's as if Bramble senses a secret no one else can see. Melissa's eyes scan the street. Everything looks normal, but Bramble's gaze locks on the empty road ahead, unblinking and fierce. "What do you see, buddy?" she asks, her voice low. Bramble lets out a soft growl, not aggressive, just a warning. Melissa's heart quickens. Okay, we'll be ready." She pats Bramble's head. "You're more than just a dog, aren't you?" Bramble's amber eyes meet hers, steady and sure. In that moment, Melissa feels the weight of their duty. They're not just walking a route. They're standing between safety and the unknown. And somewhere in the calm, a shadow waits, testing their trust, their bond, and everything Bramble was born to protect. The first warm days of spring brought a gentle rhythm back to the schoolyard. Bramble's tail wagged slowly as children laughed and ran past. Melissa stood nearby, savoring the quiet moments before the rush. "Easy, boy," she said softly, watching him greet the little ones like an old friend. It had been a peaceful few weeks. Bramble was more than a dog. He was a part of this neighborhood. Kids knew him, parents smiled when they saw him, and Melissa felt a calm she hadn't had in months. "Looks like we're finally getting a break," she told Bramble, her voice full of relief. But peace can be fragile. Without warning, a silver van crept slowly along the street, windows darkened and no license plate in sight. It stopped just at the edge of the school zone. Melissa's heart skipped. She reached for her radio, but before she could speak, Bramble changed. His body tensed, muscles stiff. His amber eyes locked on the van like it was a storm on the horizon. He didn't bark, didn't growl at first, just stood like a statue. Melissa leaned close, whispering, "What is it, boy? You see something?" Bramble rose suddenly, pulling against his leash, his ears pinned back, and a low growl rumbled deep in his chest. "Easy, Bramble," Melissa said firmly, but she knew better. This wasn't just a stranger's van, it was something else. From the open sliding door, a man leaned out, waving at a young girl walking nearby. His voice was calm but forced. "Come. On, sweetheart, your mom sent me." The girl hesitated, taking a step forward. Bramble didn't hesitate. He lunged forward and planted himself between the girl and the van, growling low and fierce. Melissa shouted, "Back! Stay away!" Her heart pounded as she hurried to the girl's side. The man froze, then slammed the van into reverse, peeling away fast. Bramble stayed firm, blocking the child until Melissa could pull her to safety. "Are you okay?" Melissa asked, holding the trembling girl close. The girl whispered, "He said he was my uncle. Mommy sent him." Melissa's eyes narrowed. This was no accident. The danger had been waiting all along, and Bramble's silent warning had just saved a life. The moment the silver van stopped at the curb, everything changed. Melissa's eyes narrowed as she watched a man lean out the sliding door, calling softly to a young girl walking nearby. "Arya, sweetheart, it's me. Your uncle. Your mom sent me to pick you up." Arya hesitated, her small hand clutching the strap of her pink backpack. She looked toward the van, then at the street behind her. No one else seemed to notice the danger lurking so close. But Bramble did. Without a second thought, Bramble sprang forward, placing himself directly between Arya and the van. His body was rigid, muscles coiled like a spring ready to snap. A low growl rumbled deep in his throat, soft, yet filled with warning. Melissa moved quickly, her voice steady but urgent. "Bramble, no, stay." But Bramble's gaze never left the man. His growl grew louder, vibrating through the air like a distant storm. Arya's eyes widened. She looked from Bramble to the man in the van. "Mommy said you were coming," she whispered, confused. Melissa crouched beside Arya, gently wrapping an arm around her. "Sweetheart, do you know this man?" she asked softly. The girl shook her head. "No, but he said he was family." Melissa's heart pounded as she glanced back at the van. The man's smile was too smooth, too practiced. His eyes flicked nervously toward Bramble, then back to Arya. "Come on, honey. Let's get you home." Bramble's growl cut through the tense air again, sharper this time. His hackles rose, and he bared his teeth not to threaten but to protect. Melissa stepped in front of Arya, raising her hand. "Back," she ordered firmly. The man's smile faltered. He slammed the van door and shifted into reverse. The van screeched away, tires spinning on the pavement. Melissa kept her hand on Arya's shoulder, her voice soft but sure. "You're safe now. I won't let anyone hurt you." Arya trembled, eyes wide with fear. "He said Mommy sent him, but Mommy never said." Melissa's mind raced. This wasn't just a random stranger or a lost driver. This was someone who had planned everything, the fake family story, the timing, the quiet wait. And Bramble's instincts had saved Arya from stepping into a trap. She looked down at Bramble, whose stance slowly softened as the van disappeared from sight. "Good boy," Melissa whispered, kneeling to scratch behind his ears. "You saw what we couldn't." But the danger wasn't over. Melissa knew the shadows stretched farther than this street, and the man in the van was still out there, watching, waiting for the next chance. Bramble lay beside her, alert but calm. The silent threat had been stopped for now, but Melissa could feel it deep inside. The fight to protect was only just beginning. The moment the silver van sped away, Melissa knew this wasn't over. She called it in immediately, her voice steady but tense. "Dispatch, we need all units on alert. Possible attempted abduction at South Ridge Elementary." Back at the station, the van was found abandoned in a quiet parking lot. The team quickly moved in, careful not to disturb anything. Melissa watched as officers opened the back doors and peered inside. What they found sent chills down her spine. Inside the van was a folded map, marked with red circles around South Ridge Elementary, Franklin Elementary, and a third school no one had heard of yet. Nearby lay a pair of disposable gloves, a bundle of zip ties, and an old stuffed dog, its fur worn thin like it had been handled many times. Melissa felt a cold shiver run down her spine. "This wasn't random," she said quietly. "This was planned." The zip ties were brand new, unused, but the message was clear. This man had been preparing for something sinister. The gloves suggested he wanted to avoid leaving evidence. And the map? It showed he had been watching schools for weeks, maybe months. Officer Ramos turned to Melissa. "Look at this," he said, holding up a burner phone. It was off, but still, warm to the touch. Melissa's mind raced. This wasn't just a man driving a lost route. This was a predator who had studied the community's patterns, the children's routines, and even the school routes. She stared at the stuffed dog in her hands, wondering if it belonged to a previous victim or if it was meant to lure another child. The thought made her stomach twist. "Do you think he's done this before?" she asked softly. Ramos nodded grimly. "If he hasn't, he's damn close." Melissa's eyes narrowed. She knew they were chasing more than a man with a van. They were chasing a shadow that had been waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. She looked down at Bramble, resting his head on her boot. The dog had stopped growling once the van left, but his alertness never faded. He seemed to know this was just the beginning. Melissa clenched her jaw. "We have to find him before he tries again." Her phone buzzed. A text came through, reports from other precincts about suspicious vehicles near schools. Similar vans, similar descriptions, the same pattern. "This isn't just here," Melissa said, voice heavy. "It's everywhere." She glanced at Bramble, her silent partner in this fight. "We're going to need you more than ever." Bramble looked up, eyes steady, ready to face the threat. No one else could see. Melissa's heart ached for the children out there, innocent and unaware. But she promised herself one thing: no child would be taken on her watch. Melissa sat in the evidence room, her eyes scanning the new reports that kept arriving. Each one told the same chilling story: attempted abductions, strange vans, men claiming to be family. The pattern was clear. This wasn't just one man. It was a predator moving through towns, slipping through the cracks unseen for too long. She looked up at Bramble, who lay quietly by her feet, eyes alert, as always. "It's worse than we thought, boy," she whispered. "He's been doing this all along." One report caught her eye: a 6-year-old girl in Montessori, just 3 towns over. The man had waited in a parking lot, engine running, trying the same act, pretending to be a rideshare, asking the child to get in. The girl ran away, but no one caught him. Melissa's voice trembled slightly as she shared the news with Officer Ramos. "He's been hunting these kids for months, maybe years. We're only just now seeing the full picture." Ramos frowned. "How did he stay hidden for so long?" Melissa shook her head. "He's careful, patient. He watches, waits for the right moment. Each town thinks it's isolated, but it's all connected." She pulled up an old sketch of a man from a previous case. A man with thick eyebrows, glasses, calm voice. The resemblance was striking. "It's the same guy," Melissa said. "Same method, different place." Bramble lifted his head and growled softly, sensing the weight of the moment. Melissa reached down, stroking his fur. "You stopped him today, but there's more out there." A phone buzzed with a message. A mall security incident where a man spilled paint thinner, claiming it was for a hobby. He left before anyone could get his ID. Melissa's stomach tightened. "That was him too, scouting security," she said, quietly. Ramos nodded grimly. "He's been learning, getting smarter." Melissa leaned back, eyes closing briefly. The thought of all those children, unaware, almost caught, made her chest ache. "We need to catch him before it's too late." Bramble's amber eyes locked with hers, steady and calm. In that moment, Melissa knew they weren't just chasing a man. They were fighting to protect every child from a shadow that had lurked too long. She whispered, "We'll stop you. I promise." Russell Green sat calmly in the interview room, his hands folded neatly on the table. His eyes, cold and steady, met Melissa's without blinking. "I don't know why you're making such a fuss," he said smoothly. "I was just picking up my niece. It's a simple misunderstanding." Melissa's gaze hardened. "There's no niece registered at any school nearby," she replied. "And your van was seen near multiple schools, all with the same pattern. You're not fooling anyone." Russell smiled thinly, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You think I'm dangerous? I'm a family man. I wouldn't harm a child." Bramble sat beside Melissa, alert and tense. His eyes never left Russell, as if he could see something the officers couldn't. He growled low once, a warning that cut through the room's silence. Melissa nodded to Bramble. Your dog seems to disagree, she said softly. We found your van stocked with gloves, zip ties, and a map marking schools. That's not innocent. Russell's smile faltered for a split second. Then he leaned back, relaxed again. You're grasping at straws. Those are just things I keep in my van for work. Melissa didn't believe him. And the burner phone? The texts linked to dark online forums discussing children? Russell's calm cracked, just a flicker. You're accusing me without proof. Proof is coming, Melissa said firmly. We're building a case. Russell's eyes narrowed, a shadow passing over his face. You don't know who you're dealing with. Melissa felt a chill. There was something behind that calm mask, something dangerous and practiced. He was used to hiding, slipping through cracks. But now, with Bramble watching, there was nowhere left to run. Bramble's ears perked, sensing the shift. He stood and moved closer to Melissa, protective as ever. Melissa reached down, gripping Bramble's collar. We'll catch you, Russell. No more lies. Russell's smile disappeared completely. You think this ends here? You have no idea what you've started. Melissa glanced at Bramble, her silent partner, and felt a surge of hope. They might be facing a monster, but together, they were ready. We'll see about that, Melissa said, voice steady but fierce. Bramble sat alert, eyes burning with quiet strength. The fight was far from over, but for the first time Melissa felt they had a chance. The predator didn't give up. After Russell Green's arrest, Melissa thought the danger had passed, but Bramble knew better. His nose twitched every time a silver van drove by. His eyes never stopped watching. Melissa watched too. He's still out there, she told Officer Ramos one afternoon. Watching, waiting. Reports started coming in. Strange vans circling school parking lots, men claiming to be relatives trying the same tricks. One mother called, scared because a man had approached her daughter saying he was from the school office. The girl ran, but the fear lingered. Bramble's alertness grew. On a quiet morning, he suddenly stiffened near the flagpole at South Ridge. His nose hit the ground, sniffing deeply. Melissa felt her heart race. What is it, boy? She whispered. A van with tinted windows slowly circled the block twice before parking near the kindergarten playground. The driver's eyes scanned the children playing. Bramble growled low, muscles tight. Melissa moved in, her voice steady but firm. Sir, can I help you? School zones are off limits during drop-off hours. The man smiled smoothly. I'm just waiting for my niece. She's late again. Melissa's eyes narrowed. What's her name? Emma Carmichael. 5th grade, he answered, but a quick check showed no Emma enrolled. Bramble's growl grew louder, his hackles rising. The man's smile twitched, and he started the engine quickly. Melissa called backup. We need units at Franklin Elementary. Suspicious vehicle leaving. The van sped off before anyone could stop it. Melissa cursed under her breath. He's learning, getting smarter. She sat back watching Bramble calm but still alert. We'll catch him, buddy, no more close calls. Across town, reports came from other schools. Parents spotting similar vans, kids running scared. Melissa knew this was more than one man. Or if it was, he had been stalking the area for months, studying every move. She rubbed Bramble's ears. We're not just fighting one shadow anymore, it's a whole storm. Bramble looked up, eyes steady. Melissa felt a mix of fear and hope. The fight was far from over, but with Bramble's instincts and her team's resolve, they were ready for what came next. Melissa's mind raced as the reports kept pouring in. The man was out there, watching, waiting, learning. But now, with Bramble by her side, she was ready to fight back. This ends soon, she told her team, her voice steady with determination. They tightened security at the schools. Extra officers patrolled, teachers were on high alert, and parents were warned to watch their kids closely. Melissa's plan was clear: catch the predator before he struck again. Bramble sensed the change. He was quieter now, but his eyes were sharper, his nose twitching every time a strange scent passed by. Melissa knew the dog was ready for what was coming. One afternoon, Bramble suddenly stopped near the bus loop. His body went stiff, ears perked up. Melissa felt her heart jump. "Good boy, what do you smell?" She saw a silver van slowly cruising. Nearby, tinted windows hiding the driver's face. The van circled twice and stopped close to the school fence. Bramble growled low, warning clear and fierce. Melissa whispered into her radio. "Unit 7, we've got a suspicious vehicle near the playground, requesting backup." She stepped out of her cruiser, watching the van. The driver's head moved slowly, studying the kids as they played. Bramble sat, eyes fixed, ready. Melissa's voice was calm but firm. "Sir, this is a restricted area during school hours. Can I help you?" The man smiled politely. "I'm here to pick up my niece. She's late for her appointment." Melissa's eyes narrowed. "What's her name?" "Emma Carmichael," he answered smoothly. Melissa quickly checked the database. No Emma Carmichael at this school. Bramble's growl grew louder, hackles rising. The man's smile twitched, then he started the engine. Melissa's radio crackled. Backup was near. Officers closed in quietly. Suddenly, the van sped off. But Melissa was ready. Don't let him get away. The chase was on. Hours later, after tireless searching, the van was found abandoned again. This time officers caught a glimpse of a man running into the woods nearby. Melissa's voice shook but stayed strong. "We're closing in." Bramble's instincts led us right. She knelt beside Bramble, who looked tired but alert. "You're the bravest dog I know." The whole community was holding its breath, waiting for the final confrontation. Melissa knew this was more than a case. It was a battle for safety, trust, and hope. And Bramble was their silent hero, standing guard between innocence and danger, ready to fight until the very end. The tension was unbearable. Melissa's hands trembled as she scanned the area. Bramble stood alert, muscles coiled like a spring, ready to snap. They had followed the van's trail all day, tracking the predator who had haunted their schools for so long. Suddenly, Bramble's nose twitched. His ears perked sharply. He pulled against the leash, urging Melissa forward. "Easy." "Boy, but what is it?" she whispered. Ahead, the silver van lurked near a playground, the driver's door open. Melissa's heart pounded. A little girl stood frozen, looking confused and scared. The man was reaching out to her, his voice soft but demanding. "Come, with me, honey. Your mom sent me." Bramble didn't hesitate. With a powerful leap, he placed himself between the man and the child. The low growl that rose from his throat was fierce and unyielding. Melissa shouted, "Stay back, this is the police." The man turned, eyes wide with shock. He snarled but saw Bramble's unwavering stance and Melissa's hand on her radio calling for backup. The little girl ran to Melissa's arms, tears streaming down her cheeks. "He said he was my uncle," she sobbed. "But he wasn't." Melissa held her tight. "You're safe now, I promise." Bramble stood guard, eyes locked on the man, who was now cuffed and surrounded by officers. The predator's mask of calm had shattered, replaced by fear and defeat. The community's nightmare was finally over. Later at the precinct, Melissa sat with Bramble at her feet, her heart heavy but relieved. "You saved her life again, buddy. You're more than a dog. You're a guardian." Bramble rested his head on her boot, calm but proud. News spread fast. Parents hugged their children tighter. Teachers thanked officers. But Melissa knew this. Victory belonged mostly to Bramble, the silent hero who saw the danger no one else could. Justice was closing in, and the shadows were lifting. Yet, Melissa's eyes remained watchful. "We did good, boy, but we have to stay ready." Bramble's gentle lick on her hand was all the answer she needed. Life slowly returned to the quiet streets around South Ridge Elementary, but the memories lingered like a shadow. Melissa and Bramble became more than just officers and a patrol dog. They were heroes in the eyes of the community. Yet Melissa knew the scars ran deeper than anyone could see. One morning, Melissa stood outside the school, watching children cross safely, once again. Parents greeted Bramble with smiles and gentle pats. You saved my daughter, one mom whispered, tears in her eyes. Bramble wagged his tail, calm and steady, but Melissa saw the quiet strength behind those amber eyes. He didn't seek praise. He only wanted to protect. Inside the school, counselors worked with children like Arya, helping them heal from fear. Melissa checked in with Arya's mother, Jocelyn. She's doing better, Jocelyn said softly. Thanks to you and Bramble. Melissa shook her head. No, it was Bramble's courage. He saw what we couldn't. At home, Melissa knelt beside Bramble, running her fingers through his fur. You're my silent hero, she whispered. Bramble leaned into her touch, his presence a comfort after the chaos. But healing wasn't just for the children or the community. Melissa felt it too. The weight of what almost happened hung heavy on her heart. But Bramble's unwavering loyalty reminded her that even in darkness, hope could shine. One afternoon, as Melissa prepared for patrol, Arya appeared at her door. Can I see Bramble? She asked shyly. Melissa smiled and nodded. Of course. Bramble greeted Arya with a gentle nuzzle. The girl's face lit up with a shy smile. He's the best dog, she said softly. Melissa watched them and thought about the invisible battles Bramble fought every day. Not with teeth or claws, but with heart. The community had learned a powerful lesson, that sometimes it's a dog's silent courage that saves a child and restores faith in the world. Melissa looked down at Bramble and said, Thank you for never giving up. Bramble's eyes met hers, full of trust and love. In that moment, healing began. Not just for them, but for everyone who believed in the quiet power of a guardian's heart.